Hello, my name is Cherie. I go by BlondeFoxy or Lucky Coyote online. Many of you in our community have seen the recent rash of extreme and outrageous attacks against me and my company, Don't Hug Cacti. As I will demonstrate, these attacks are being orchestrated by a few individuals who I trusted in the past and who are now hell-bent on destroying me and my company for their own personal gain. I want all of my supporters to know that I have nothing but respect and admiration for survivors of sexual assault. I myself have been the victim of such heinous actions. I was in an extremely abusive and manipulative relationship from 2008 to 2011. During this relationship, I was subjected to horrific treatment in the hands of a man that I trusted. This experience almost destroyed me. Unfortunately, since that time, it has been apparent that I have become too trusting in the people I had shared my experiences with. Many of those people have written so-called testimonies against me are the people who I trusted and shared these intimate and horrific details of my past. Now, these same people are using these experiences against me, manipulating and misconstruing my past in an effort to tear me down. Many of these people are competing fursuit makers, and many of them stand to gain from my and my company's downfall. I realize that internet culture encourages a rush to judgment, but I will not sit back and let these people whom I used to trust destroy my reputation without defending myself. On September 25th, 2020, a document was published about me containing mostly anonymous testimony defaming me and my business, alleging multiple serious felony accusations. These accusations are completely untrue, so I was advised to seek legal representation. We have identified almost all of the anonymous testimonies. The document was constructed primarily by at least 6 competing fursuit makers and their friends. Several of these individuals even contributed multiple times under different names. WallabyT harassed our social media pages with links to the document and messaged an employee to let them know that they could see them viewing the Instagram page with the document. After months of harassment, WallabyT tweeted that they wrote and compiled the document themselves. They proved to us that they were involved with the document and the Instagram account. Our lawyers contacted them and sent them a letter of retraction. WallabyT responded saying, "I didn't create or publish the Google Doc or the Instagram page regarding Cherie. I can tell you the person who published the Google document can be reached by the handle Cutins." After WallabyT denied involvement and pointed to Cutins, our lawyer sent Cutins a letter of retraction that stated, "You should know that we have already reached out to WallabyT regarding the content. They informed us that you are the person responsible for the creation of the content. DHC is unsure of how you can make such specific and salacious allegations against them when you have never met any employee or agent of DHC, nor have you ever commissioned work from DHC. We take felony accusations extremely serious and believe victims have the right to have their voices heard. While many reports of sexual assault and abuse are honest and long overdue, wrongful allegations like yours are commonly weaponized for malicious purposes, resulting in a dangerous cancel culture that detracts from genuine reports of abuse and violence. We have advised DHC that they have every right to seek damages and other relief against you. They have elected at this time to invite discussion towards an amicable resolution of this matter. Despite the massive damage and immeasurable distress that you have caused, DHC wishes to build up its members of its community in a positive manner and would prefer not to engage in protracted litigation if it can be avoided. We urge you to not lash out on social media or direct others to do so on your behalf." Cutins never responded to the multiple emails or phone calls from our lawyer. Instead, they did what we requested they not do, and they went public, starting a GoFundMe and raising over $12,000 for their legal defense. It does not cost $12,000 to talk. As you know, lawyers are extremely expensive. I have racked up already thousands of dollars in legal fees just to send these requests. We are a small, family-owned business with 3 employees, 5 including ourselves. We are not a large corporation with unlimited funds, and going through a lawsuit like this could cost over $100,000. We simply cannot afford to go through with something that expensive, especially when the likelihood of recovering anything close to that amount from anyone is highly unlikely. So even a successful lawsuit would do nothing but cost us a ridiculous amount of money just to prove a point. Now that I have cleared up what has happened so far, some specific things in the document need to be addressed. Regarding Anonymous Fox, this took place between 2 consenting adults, both in their 20s. Consent was agreed on by both of us beforehand and again during. The person who wrote the testimony even admitted that they gave consent. It is not sexual assault or abuse when both parties are consenting adults. An experience that you consented to at the time but regret later is not assault. That is not how any of that works. As for inferring anything from my decade-old art, none of my pets have ever had any sexual contact with anyone, and implying that they have is disgusting, disturbing, and offensive. My adult art was left safely behind adult filters, and posting it publicly for anyone to see, including children, is wrong. You are undermining my efforts to keep it only viewable to adults. Regarding transphobia, I have never and will never intentionally misgender someone. You can use whatever pronouns you like, and I will respect that. If you don't tell me your preferred pronouns, you can't go and accuse me of misgendering you. On the subject of grooming, there are many inferences in this document. Nico even claims to have been groomed. How can this be in the realm of reality when we had a 100% platonic friendship and they repeatedly mentioned how independent I encouraged them to be throughout our friendship? These 2 things cannot exist at the same time. Anonymous Penguin claimed that I offered drugs to a 16-year-old minor, another felony. Here is a legal statement from Anonymous B confirming that never happened. Their name is blurred out to protect their personal info. My name is, and I was never offered narcotics of any kind by Cherie O'Donnell or Sean O'Donnell when I was a minor, nor did I disclose this information to. The ex-girlfriend of Anonymous B, Anonymous Penguin, uses this screenshot to imply something weird was going on between me and B. Bullet dodged, her not coming. Honestly, it was still pretty weird meeting B. I was like, so how old are you? I didn't know. So I thought B would have a friend with them, but I guess it was meant to go down like that. This is the whole message without anything blurred out. It was my first time collabing with another YouTuber. You gotta start somewhere, right? Inferring that our friendship was anything beyond collaborating on YouTube videos is ridiculous. I have never had any inappropriate contact with a minor ever, and have never had a sexual encounter with a minor ever. It's incredibly sad to see some people that I have severed ties with participate in similar hateful behavior. This document is littered with twisted rumors and completely falsified stories. Nico's testimony is one of the most surprising and upsetting. They were the closest person to me outside of my marriage for many years. The way that they weaponize things that I have confided in them as a friend, and the way that they have tried to manipulate our community at the expense of my safety is deeply upsetting. I sent Nico this email days before the document was posted, completely unaware of what they were about to do. September 23rd, 2020. I'm very sorry for being immature. I should have handled things different, but I didn't know how. So you deserve an apology because it wasn't right how I just ignored you and avoided you. I'm so sorry, Nico. I hope you can move forward in your life. I hope you're doing well and wish you the best on your journey in life. I really appreciate all the years of professionalism and rapport you shared with me over the last decade. No response. This friend of 9 years told a story about how I used the N-word in a conversation that they could not remember the context of. I remember this conversation in great detail. I was confiding in my friend about my racist childhood in Texas and how normalized certain words were when I was 5 or 6-year-old little girl. It didn't take me long to learn of how wrong those values were, but in reliving those experiences, the word came back. I have never intentionally used any racial slur against anyone. Having a friend of nearly a decade try to use this deeply personal conversation against me is upsetting. I know that this is a topic of controversy at the moment, but I stand behind the liberal value that intent matters over impact, and I firmly support the use-mentioned distinction. They even used exaggerated facts, such as the length of the trip I had to Australia. I arrived to Australia on July 24th, and I departed July 30th. I did not stay after the convention a full week like they said. In fact, I wasn't even in Australia for a week. It was a very quick trip, with 1 full day to sleep after a 24-hour journey, and 1 full day after the con to experience Sydney with the con chair and the liaisons. My flight was booked a year in advance. My friend's trip overlapped by 1 day in a completely different part of Australia, nearly 1,000 miles away. Nico even goes on to personally vouch for everyone in this document. This is not the first time a group of fursuit makers and their friends have gotten together in an attempt to harass or defame me or my company. I have remained silent about their abuse in the past, but now it is escalated to the point where it needs to be addressed. Now is an appropriate time to share some of my stories and expose the lies and manipulation that people like to participate in and show how dangerous it has become. In the past, competing fursuit makers would often write negative reviews of my work, often exaggerating and fabricating facts and events. Many of these things were done out of jealousy and hate, which is disheartening because we have always tried to be a supportive community, not a bunch of ruthless bullies. I have always ignored these attacks and let my real customers be heard. In this document, Anonymous Wolf left one of these false accounts for themselves and a friend. We pulled up every email I've ever sent them from my business. So I have the unique ability to highlight how these people manipulate real-world events and to wrongfully discredit me and my business. They purchased one of my used personal fursuits. They claimed to have sent a duct tape dummy to tailor the body, but that never happened. I was 5'9", 195 pounds at the time, and they were 5'6", 112 pounds. So the body was built for someone much bigger. They wrote, "She asked me to send a duct tape dummy to edit the body to my size." Again, there was never a duct tape dummy, and the suit was sold as is. They wrote, "Hi, I have purchased the suit Trouble from you guys. I have lost a lot of weight, and I would love to have the suit tailored to fit me. Sorry, we only make full suit commissions here. As tailoring your costume, we can't do that since we only build costumes off the duct tape dummies in the first place. We would need you here in person to see how it fits and whatnot. We can't tailor it." They then wrote, "I kindly just asked for what fabrics were used. Suddenly, I'm back to speaking with Lucky, who states, and I quote, 'Unfortunately, this body is way too complicated for one person to make. It was made by a team of professionals and cannot be reproduced.' Confused, I just asked why. I asked again for the fabric. It took 3 days of arguing back and forth with Swifty and Lucky before Lucky's husband eventually answers my concerns and tells me what fabrics were used." Here is the actual email exchange. May 15, 2013, 1:07 p.m. "What website did you get the fur from? I might make her a whole new body." May 15, 2013, 1:11 p.m. "The fur is called Bone Honey and White Teddy, and it is on crscraft.com. They then write, "Maybe a year later, my suit is in okay shape, and they refuse to refurbish her and insist I just buy a new one, quoting me at $1,800 for a new head. Years ago, I purchased your suit Trouble. She's provided me with tons of joy over the years, but I think it's time for a new head. Head alone costs $1,200 USD. They then purchased a kitsune head from me and said the box showed up again with zero warning or tracking. December 15, 2014, 4:57 p.m. "Hey, just wondering if I could please have a tracking code for the kitsune. Thank you so much." December 16th, 2014, 1:18 a.m. Here you go. I had some issues selling this specific suit. Several people would claim to buy it and then would post it on their social media that it was now theirs, but then never pay. So I finally sold it to the first person that would actually pay for it. Another buyer was in communication with me at the time. Anonymous Wolf said that they both had asked us what happened and we never responded. Here's the email of me apologizing for this miscommunication to the other buyer. We ended up making them a custom project and are now friends. I am so sorry about all this. What a stressful situation. I feel so dizzy and guilty after all of this. Can I draw you something for this headache? I know it sounds strange, but I would just like to sketch something for you after all of this. I am really sorry. There was a lot of pressure here and bad timing. In 2015, they bought my husband's refurbished fursuit project. They wrote, "She provided me with 3 concept art designs for the head to choose from, and I picked one, and that was clearly the wrong one, in her opinion. She went ahead and just made whatever facial designs she wanted. She ignored the eye color quest, ignored the ear notch, and ignored the hair tuft. Everything went ignored." Here are some emails regarding this transaction. Hi, I was talking to you on Twitter about a pre-made. This is a side project of Lucky's, but it was built to fit Scuff. We are only comfortable to accept the money up front if you understand that this is not a custom work. This is essentially artistic liberty and no input will be accepted into this. I might add German Shepherd cheek dots on the cheeks too. Would you like that? Cheek dots are totally acceptable. I would love them. I have one single call before I finish this guy up tonight. If you want the top fangs on him or not, let me know which look to continue with. A, no fangs. B, bottom fangs only. C, top and bottom fangs. Wow, let me just say, you've really outdone yourself. Turning an older head into that work of art is just, wow. I definitely want him. Sorry, Scuff. Let's go with the bottom fangs only. They wrote, "Yet again, this suit shows up without any prior warning." March 25th, 2015, 9:04 a.m. Hi, just wondering if you could please provide me with the tracking code once he is sent. Thanks. March 25th, 2015, 9:43 a.m. No worries. You said that the suit came unwashed and with every claw falling out, and the fur was gross and matted, and the fabric was just the worst that you had ever seen. You said that it was your final straw with our company, but you continued to inquire about several other fursuit projects in the future. You then go on to detail your friend's commission with more lies, writing, "In 2 years of waiting, he had only seen one whip, and suddenly the suit just shows up." They paid for the commission on August 28th, 2011, and it was completed February 2nd, 2012. Let me do the math for you. That's 5 months total and 2 months early from the agreed upon deadline. They then say, that's not his character, and that I removed all of his markings and colors, and that changed everything, and that when he asked what happened, I said, "Unfortunately, your original reference was very ugly and would not match our style, so we simplified it so it would fit on a suit better." Here is the email describing the character and the ref sheet provided, and a photo of the finished costume. Awesome, that is a very good concept art. We would definitely love to make this for you. Here are other important email exchanges. Hey there, we shipped out Jake today. We really had a pleasure working on him, and you were so easy to work with as well. Thanks for commissioning us. We'd love to work with you again someday. USPS confirmation. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad that you could take my commission, and I think he turned out really cute. And I hope that someday I'll have a chance to commission you guys again. Thank you, Lucky and Scuff, for taking my commission and for getting him done so early. Also, thank you for the badge. I love it. It's really pretty. And thank you for the Valentine's Day stuff and the heart on the head. Hey, just want to let you guys know that my suit just got here safe and sound. Everything fits perfectly, and I can actually see in this suit, unlike others I've tried on. I love my suit so much. Excellent. Thanks again for picking us to make your suit. Can't wait to see photos of him at cons. Have fun, Foxy. They then go on to say, I believe she started going on a pre-made blitz because commissions were providing too much backlash since she changed everyone's characters. We have opened every single year for commissions, usually multiple times a year. We often receive 150 plus quotes for 20 to 30 slots. I do love designing fursuits and selling them. They give people a chance to get a custom-sized fursuit professionally designed within weeks instead of months or years of waiting. Not to mention, I love designing characters and seeing them brought to life. This is why I do my job after all, and I hope my passion is reflected in my work. I want everyone to know that leaving fake reviews is not how you get anywhere in this business. I got here from working my butt off. I was a maid scrubbing toilets when I started building fursuits. I started working out of a rented room before I even had a mattress to sleep on. There is no replacement for hard work. I have worked hard every day to get where I am. I was never given anything. This is what people have done to me for years. Everything here is just exaggerated or manipulative. The testimonies even state that they don't have any evidence for their claims. They don't have any evidence because there never was any, and they know that they don't need any. They twist things that they admit they can barely remember or simply make things up. Some of them even wrote out their motives in the document. My words do not come from a place of malice, a desire to cancel her, a wish for her fursuit making company to fail, or a want for people to attack or troll her. I want to see her held accountable. My testimony is not for vengeance. I do not wish to hurt her. The main purpose of this document is not for defamation, inflammatory purposes, and certainly not for drama or clout. Some of these people who were closest to me knew that I had struggled for years with harassment, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, and other serious issues. I would like to share 2 personal stories related to this. When I was much younger, I had a traumatic experience at a major convention. A much older and bigger male customer that had dropped contact with me came up to an elevator lobby that I was at. He was very inebriated, and as soon as he saw me, started shouting my name and obscenities in front of a large group of people. He did this while wearing the costume I had built. Having someone older and bigger threaten me publicly was one of the worst experiences in my life. I ran back to my hotel room and I experienced my first panic attack. I couldn't breathe and I felt like I was dying. I had no idea what was happening to me. I was scared to leave my room again and I just wanted to go home. Several of the people who had witnessed this later came up and apologized on his behalf, but he never did. I have put my entire life into my art and business, but this experience I was never able to forget. Harassment has come in many forms in my time here. Back when fur affinity was widely used, I was often brutally trolled and threatened. People would make accounts with graphic images and threats of violence. This is one I remember the name of specifically. Let's Rape BlondeFoxy. It was full of graphic images of violent rapes. The content was removed and the account got suspended, but I will never forget the disturbing images that were there. This was only one of these many accounts. Others would have pictures of mutilated animals. These would often pop up while I was attending conventions, and I was never able to feel safe at them. These accounts were always directed specifically towards me. I always thought that they were created by someone that was close to me, and I know that some of the people in this document took part in those horrific campaigns. These are only 2 stories that I wish to share at this time. I just want everyone to know some personal things that I have dealt with and carried with me all these years. To anyone who has ever felt slighted at a convention or elsewhere, that was never my intention. I have tried my best to be as friendly as I can, but I am certainly not perfect. I do apologize. Only after years of treatment did I finally learn how to set healthy boundaries with my friends, my job, and our community. The last 3 months have been hell. I have been receiving death and rape threats. I am scared for my safety. It only takes one person to follow through with any of these threats. This is dangerous. The people from this document didn't understand what repercussions this would cause or they did and simply didn't care, all over failed friendships. They are contributing to and promoting this dangerous and effective system. Real abuse and real crimes need to be reported when they happen. If you're struggling with mental health issues or abuse, please get help. You must take necessary steps to remove yourself from harmful relationships or environments. I would like nothing more than for the $12,000 raised by furry fandom to be donated to the Joyful Heart Foundation to help real, actual victims of sexual assault, domestic violence, and child abuse. I left furry social media in August 2020, and I have no intention of returning. Thank you to everyone who has not contributed to the spread of misinformation. And thank you to everyone who has sent me their support during this very difficult time.